can I just give you my overarching emotion watching that game? I thought they're back. I thought the Hawks that we saw last year, with some of their ball movement, with the input of their high half forwards and their work rate to get up and back, I thought the forward line worked really well, particularly early, clearly. And then Will Day back, he just makes a difference. He's, when you say Butters is the captain of Port, not the official captain.
Do I say that you chat GPTing this? Do I say that ahead of time or behind time?
No, ahead. Okay. And then I think a few others
just checking
jumped on.
Yep.
I'm saying that about Day.
Right.
I watched them and I think he's the captain. That's how I feel. Like he was not big numbers clearly, but
big impact.
The way that he throws himself at the footy and look, if they can get him going, he to me is the missing piece of the midfield, which is Newcombe. They'd love to get going. Has been down and was subbed out. There was a thought that he was injured going in, so they just looked after him. We'll speak to Sam Mitchell shortly, but Sicily is a big story. Best game of the year. Barassa's looking like the Barassi was at West Coast. So I think there was a lot to think, geez, this has turned the corner for the Hawks. How'd you see it? What's your first thoughts?
Look, I want to be with you.
Yeah, but you're not.
I think if their midfield play like this, they'll get smacked by Adelaide, by Collingwood and by Brisbane.
Yep.
And run a chance to miss the 8. Their midfield is subpar. And I know Day's just working himself back. Newcomb's horribly out of form or injured, either or. We're judging from the outside looking in. They got some work to do. They got to find another strike midfielder now. I don't know if it's Connor McDonald. I don't know if they can get more out of Watson or Dylan Moore. I don't know who that extra mid is. They're underwhelming in the middle at the moment. They haven't won a centre bounce. They've won 2 centre bounce contest battles since round 9. So they're losing territory, and then it comes down to ball movement. It's a hard way to live against good teams. Against Carlton, no problems. You get away with it, right? They're out of sorts at the moment, low on confidence and low on execution. They just can't hurt you, Carlton. They're just a blunt knife. But I think if the Hawks play like that, outside of their work in the forward 50 arc and the D50 arc, I think their game needs a lot of correction.
Can I say to you, well, the Bulldogs got the best midfield in it. The numbers would suggest that. They knocked them off. And you mentioned Adelaide. They knocked them off in pretty tough conditions. Do you take anything out of those matchups? I don't know what the numbers suggested on that night, but they got the job done against those two sides that have a strength through the midfield.
Yeah,
do you take belief from that?
No. There are other ways to win, and I'm not discrediting what you've said about Sicily. Great to see him striking the ball. That's what I was really taken by. There was a little dart he did on the boundary in front of the members there, in front of the media area. 45-metre flat kick, had to hit it perfect. Did, and I thought he's back. Start hitting the 3-iron well, he's back. And we know his intercepting's been really strong the last 2 to 3 weeks. He is working back into the game, but I think at the end of the year you're going to have a midfield that's more than competent to compete with the best, because you look at the top 4 or 5 teams, they're going to bash them in there. I just, and I'm looking forward to chatting with Mitch later on, and he looked a bit angry in the post-match. He didn't look like he was his normal positive self about the performance, and there's a lot to like about the 3 tall forwards, and we're having a bit of fun, but Deere looked like he was about to rip the game to shreds whenever the ball was in his ear. Lewis working up and down the ground.
He's moving well, Mitch Lewis.
He's a better athlete than I thought.
He's moving really well.
I'd sort of forgotten how good a mover he was, and that contested mark, well, that's just a thing of beauty, but no, there's a lot to like, but I'm just looking for gaps in the game. So are they absolutely going to tick the games against the bottom 9 teams? You'd say yes, right? They're too good to drop the game to Melbourne in round 23. But on the road against Adelaide and Brisbane, I've got my doubts.
Good test.
And then Collingwood, well, they just challenge you in so many different ways.
Good month, I reckon, for Hawthorn. And I reckon it's a good month
and
for them.
People say you're a Hawthorn hater. I'm not. We're just assessing what we saw last night. If they play like that against those 3 teams, I doubt they'll be in the game.
Yep. All right. So they have won, 6 out of their last 7. They have lost to Brisbane and Collingwood pretty convincingly this year in round 11 and 12. So some good tests. That the Fremantle game was one that I thought they performed pretty well until the last quarter. But you may have a point. We'll ask Sam Mitchell about it.
Have you done the ladder predictor, and where do you have
I
them?
haven't done the
You
ladder.
have to do it because it's to be fair, they're one of the teams that are highly likely to miss.
Still miss.
Yeah.
Still miss.
Yep. Because of percentage. And last night I think they missed
So
an
what do
opportunity.
you need? You need 15?
You need 14 and a big percent. Oh, you're going to need 14 and a big percentage.
So they're going to need 15, you're saying?
No, well, it depends what the Dogs do. The Dogs have got the best percentage, see? So that does challenge them to get to 15 wins or get some strong percentage. They had a chance last night. It was 49 points to 9 to really jump 3 or 4, maybe 5%, and they just let it go. So I'm not being negative. People saying you're being negative about. I'm not. I'm just being real.
So what if Newcombe and Day get up to form in the next month?
Perfect.
Like so that 1-2 combination at their best, that they match it with the best 1-2s in footy, so that they match it with, I think, Rowell and Anderson. They match it with Sarong and Brayshaw. They match it with whatever Collingwood duo have got, and then you've got the pieces around. Like Ward's building, I think really impressed by how he's tracking. Warple is inside. Nash is your bigger body.
Don't be skewed by Newcombe though.
No. Newcomb's had a down year.
Yeah,
but his best is elite.
So do you think he's injured? I mean, the coach won't tell us, right? So we've got to read between the lines or half make things. We make excuses for good players. Sometimes they're just out of form. Like he's still being played. 1 score involvement, 5 score involvements prior to last night, subbed out of the game. So, the easy option is to say subbed out because he's injured, give him a spell, or subbed out because the coach is trying to say, hey, you got to be better.
Yep, we'll ask the genius that when he joins us a little bit later on.
What will you do if they miss the 8?
Well, I can't do too much because if Gold Coast miss, I'm getting a fireball.
They're not missing.
Gold Coast?
Not missing.
Right.
Disappointing. And you're like,
I'd actually
continue with the genius if he misses the 8? Do you have to take that back?
No. Just.
Can you be a genius and miss the 8?
Kingy, they're fourth.
They're fourth.
They're fourth on the ladder. They're fourth on the ladder right now.
Yeah, well,
it's a pretty good performance. So let's not be too hard on them.
I'm just asking a question. I'm
right
asking
now,
what the ballers want me to ask. Don't get
now,
narky with me.
after round 20, with 4 games to go, they are fourth on the ladder. Yeah. So yes, can I continue with the genius? You bloody bet you I can.
Weddle is the big one. So
he's got scans this week on his back.
Yeah,
and that will determine his whether he plays again.
I think he's one of their most critical players. Like he changes the game. And he's one that can play that ruck or that on-ball role. Just things happen when he gets the ball. So you're right with Day, made a huge impact and good to see him healthy and up and going. And
Dylan Moore's the one that I think's turned the corner as well a little bit. His last 2 weeks have been really strong. Should we take a breath and try and assess what we're seeing with Carlton and the fallout to that? Because it was hard to be enthusiastic about what we saw in an emotional game that the team just wasn't prepared to be there physically for last night, which was bitterly disappointing. They looked a broken group though, didn't they? So take that out of it. They looked a broken group with the way that they started. There was no emotional response. The amount of missed tackles, like just simple missed tackles, walking around the tackle. Some of Adam Sard's stuff was, you've been big on him throughout the year. I just wonder if it's coming to an end for him.
Well, they've refused for quite a while now. I reckon the last 2.5 years to absolutely stamp out behaviours that kill you, and in the end, it's the old saying: the standards you walk past, the standards you accept. And Sard has consistently been this guy. Now, I like what he does in terms of his offensive ball and the run that he provides, but they've never stamped out the dark side of his game. And Jason Dunstall showed some vision last night at halftime of him just moseying around, casually moving towards the ball. And I think it was Deere that got in front of him and got the ball back. And Hawthorn, quick goal. It's over like that. And you go, well, what was he doing?
The Wizard made him look foolish a couple of times. So if you're gonna play that role on those types, like these guys are young, they're quick, they're powerful. And if you're not switched on, the same last week against Cozzy Pickett, he just was daydreaming and just switched off. And Cozzy makes you pace. I mean, it's hard to lump it all on Sard. It's not that, but it just, I don't know, I've said it a couple of times. They look broken. The coach looks fatigued. I can understand that. He looks frustrated. He looks confused as to where he's going to be in the box. Is he watching the game? Is he talking? Is he sitting in the aisle? Is he on the bench? Is he looking at the magnets? He's out of answers for Michael Voss, and not even last night with Wiedering and Doherty could that get the team up. Cripps looks like he's a broken player at the moment. How many kicks last night? He had 1 touch in the last quarter. He had 4 kicks.
Yeah.
Paddy Cripps last night.
Yeah.
This is the guy who had 6 votes in the Brownlow medal last year.
Yeah, and I'm not lumping it on him.
No, we're not. We're not. This is just the psychological turmoil that these players have been through.
It's tough, isn't it?
Which is now manifesting itself out on the ground on game day.
Yeah, we've all been poor players in poor teams.
100%.
For a period of time. So
it's hard to be a good player in a poor team.
It's hard, isn't it? And I look at their team. I think they're too tall last night. Yeah, make a decision. Like just make a decision, right? So forward of the ball, they just couldn't correct. Horny's been banging on about this for 18 months. It is 75% of the game is ball movement. If you can't move the ball, you can't compete. And the only way they scored, only way they really threatened Hawthorn was at clearance and scoring from clearance. Outside of that, they just don't have the strike power. They don't have the damage ball in hand. They've been left wanting across halfback. They don't have any damaging halfback. Anyone says, but Newman's that player. Newman's a good player, right? He's become a Hall of Famer since he's been out this year.
So's Jagger Smith.
Yeah. Jagger Smith we haven't seen him yet, right? He's a walk-up Hall of Famer, right? So they've got to get with where the game's at. Yeah. Now, how you do that is a great discussion.
Well, it is.
And I want to have the discussion with you. The Charlie Curnow chat was interesting, right?
Yeah.
If they said to the Gold Coast, give us Ben King and Will Powell, who wins?
Well, no doubt about that. And I said this on Wednesday. Because it's the Gold Coast, I think your ears prick up.
Yeah.
Because you go, we'll pick 6 for Dan Rioli. Now, I don't know. Their draft situation is interesting with the academies, and I get all of that. But if they're a club willing to give 6 for Dan Rioli, what could you possibly get for Curnow? And you have to listen to it. Don't shut it down. You have to be open to that because it's the Gold Coast. So, Ben King's there. I think they're both managed. Charlie and Ben are managed by the same manager. Is there something you could work out there? Does Ben King want to leave? I mean, he's been pretty loyal to the club and they're about to turn the corner, so
but from
unlikely.
From a Carlton
point of view, you have to listen to it.
And De Koning leaves. You sort of need him to leave now.
Well, he's gone.
And you get another high pick in. So there's a start. Do you then look at, okay, who else can we purge? Because they need quality ball users more than any other team. They just don't have them.
And 3 small forwards. Line up the small forwards for each team last night.
Yeah.
Line them up.
Yeah, and they've taken different directions to get to, across the drafting path and the trade talent acquisition path. But the list at Carlton now, all the problems are coming home to roost. So how do you correct that? How do you give Michael Voss a chance to have success with this group? Or have you made your decision that it's back to square one, whether it be with the coach or without the coach, and how many players are you prepared to purge?
I think there's 2 options. I think you do you get really aggressive with your list and you go with a new coach, or you're back in this group and Michael Voss for 1 more year and you just make some subtle adjustments, see what you can do with limited resources at the end of the year. But if you're going to cut it pretty deep and you're going to trade the likes of Curnow and others, then you're going with a new coach. If you're backing in Michael Voss, well, he doesn't want to rebuild. He needs the wins for the now. So then it's a bit more of a mini reset. Blues fans, what would you do?
Yeah, hindsight's easy, right? And your chat GPT will tell you that. But
Cornes GPT.
Cornes GPT, sorry. Tony's just sent through here. Didn't Houston want to get to Carlton? He'd be handy off halfback. I mean, these decisions, these are the ones you rue. Like Hollands is not even there at the moment. Like what's happening there? Is he going to be a player for you going forward, or is that another small? They're not big errors. There are a lot of small errors.
Yep.
Chera hasn't been the player they thought they were acquiring for that high level pick, and doesn't look like that's going to shift massively over the next 24 to 36 months. So where does it leave you?
Sam Walsh, the other one. I mean, what's Sam Walsh's body looking like? What errors have been made physically with him? Hard to know, but some warning signs there with his body as well.
Give a couple of positives. Just
I bet you're going to say O'Farrell.
Oh man, I love him. I love him. I just think he's a beauty, and
he's so good.
I know he didn't have a massive night last night by any stretch, but Haynes has been a good pickup for them. this year. I think he's been a reasonable. I was doubtful at the start of the
I
year.
think he's 5th in the league for intercept marks.
Yeah, like,
That's a big
and he did
number.
it again last night with the intercept game. So I think he's a real competitor. If you had, I don't know whether they keep Silvani, but if they had Silvani down there, does that change the mix a little bit? Not sure, but Williams has fought back into a bit of form. Haynes has kept his form. Wiedering was strong again last night. I like where they're going with Matt Carroll, and I love O'Farrell.
Last week, you had Liam Jones in the gun.
How'd that go?
Nah, not well.
What do you mean not well?
Well, he lasted a week.
Yeah, it was in the gun. I said you had to perform.
No, good for you.
Or you know what'll happen.
Not good for him.
Poor bugger.
Not good for him.
Jeez, that's ruthless, isn't it?
Wow.
1 week gone. Nope, seen enough. See you later.
1 week.
Yeah.
1 week and he's out.
Come in and find your feet. See you later.
Luke has swung the axe in a game that would have been nice confidence boost, you would think, for Liam. So he's out. Bustling her is in, and Oscar Baker. So Liam Jones, your man, and Sam Davidson out. Bebo has swung the axe. I had in the gun whinging from the coaches.
Yeah.
Free kick city.
What do you? How do we review that?
I think Damien should have.
This is what I said at the time. How are we going to review this?
I think Damien should have focused on beating Adelaide and working out how they're going to enter the ball into the forward 50, more so than worrying about what the umpires are watching with Matty Rao.
There you go.
In the gun is for Grays.com, Australia's leading online
You're a bloody
auction
beauty.
marketplace.
How was that whinging?
Oh, my goodness. The whinging's out of control. Whinging season.
Come on, who you got this week?
Well, I've actually going to turn my attention to the showdown because I love nothing more than a showdown. This one feels about as flat as I've ever seen because Port Adelaide have put the cue in the rack. There's no doubt about that. And I've got my eyes focused on Miles Bergman. You're going to take the cash. You're going to take the big money cash. Go head to head with Jordan Dawson this week and actually impact because since that contract extension has been signed, there has been little to no output from Miles Bergman and, to be fair, other than Zach Butters and Mitch Georgiades, a lot of his teammates. So Miles Bergman for me.
That's very
in
good.
a big game, a showdown where sometimes the underdog can win, and they have in the past. Not thinking that's going to happen this week, but if it's going to, Bergman's got to be better. So he's in the gun for Grace.
I like it. Now I'm sticking with another local derby, the Sydney Swans versus the GWS Giants.
What do we call that these days?
It used to be called the Battle of the Prince.
It's not allowed to be called that?
It's not allowed to be called that? Okay,
apparently.
well, let's just call it the local derby like I bloody called it.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Trying to change it back to something we shouldn't change it to.
The Sydney Derby it's called.
Is that
apparently.
right?
That's really catchy, isn't it?
that'll-
We're trying to build a rivalry. Let's call it the Sydney Derby.
Probably paid some marketing genius $1 million to come up with that. I'll tell you who I'm putting in the gun, Callum Mills. So, okay,
Millsy.
you got 30 touches against the Kangas. No problems. But they are looking for the band to get back together in a big game. This is a big game for Sydney. One, because it keeps their finals hopes alive. I know it's the slimmest of chances. And two, that if there is one team that they would rather put into turmoil, it would be the GWS Giants.
They would love that.
I want to see him do it against a good team. So he's been back for, since round 11, and he's just been okay. Getting a bit of ball, not really troubling the score involvement sheet, not really being a dominant intercept marker or intercept player for the team. He's just been a bits and pieces sort of guy. They need more than bits and pieces this week. So I want the great man, Callum, to stand up and get it done. Gone.
For Grays.com, Australia's
Sold.
leading online auction marketplace. It's easy to buy and sell with Grays. You want to put someone in the gun, let us know. 0433 90 11 16.
Gray's online hammer doesn't sound as good as yours. Yours has got a bigger middle
It's
on
just the
it.
way that you strike.
Yeah.
It's just the way
I'm
that
not
you
striking
strike. I just don't think you're quite aggressive enough with
Give
your
me
strike.
Yeah, you bash it.
Yeah, you're just not quite aggressive enough.
I'm a bit timid.
We put a few in the gun earlier on as well. If
Got
you're
a few.
just
Big holes in it, big dents.
if you're just tuning in,
That's the Liam Jones one there.
that's the Justin Longmuir
That's
one
the
there.
There, and there. There's
What about mine?
three long? There's 7 beverages on yours. I can
There's a
see
couple of Clarksons.
2 Clarksons.
There's a few Barretts.
Mate, have a look in the middle there.
Yeah, there's a big dent
Look at that.
there.
That's
That was definitely- that
that's a
was-
Sonia Hood. That one.
Definitely a Sonia.
Can I talk about? So we got the EPL style ladder at the moment, bottom 9, top 9, and I'm concerned going forward. It's
good, isn't it?
That the academy impact on the draft and the father-son impact on the draft is not going to give the best opportunities for those down the bottom. Does Swanee need to look at an old style zone system in the next few years coming back. I think country footy has really fallen away without the impact of AFL players visiting clubs, impacting and spending and investing in those communities. Like Carlton used to have Bendigo, strong football area, used to put money in, used to visit, and there was a benefit to that.
What happens if then one zone becomes really strong again and we're in the same position?
Well, what if you have the zone for 5 years
What
and
if
they rotate?
we just scrap it all? What if we just
Well,
scrap everything?
We're going to do that.
Why?
I don't think they.
Why not?
I think they're really happy with the Northern Academies, which I understand. But why is pockets of Queensland more important than pockets of Victoria?
Don't know.
Or pockets of South Australia? Why?
I-
If we're developing the game, develop
At
the bloody
least
game.
for the first round of the draft, get rid of father-sons, get rid of academies,
Yeah.
get rid of it all.
I'm
Just
happy
at
with that.
least
I
for the
don't
first
see that
round.
happening.
At least.
I don't see that happening.
No. But it should. But should. If
Why
there's-
can't you develop the whole lot?
Why do we need it? Just sack it
Because
for the
it's
first
good. I
round.
think it's good to
The
have
first round, sack it.
I grew up in the country and I used to love seeing. We used to have some Essendon players come up and you go, oh, there's there's so and so and there's so and so. It creates a buzz. We don't seem to have that. I think we've lost that. I think if you talk to people from the country, clubs need the capability to raise funds. One, and that's with AFL involvement makes it so much easier. And they just need a bit of inspiration.
How have you felt this week? You've almost been one out with Stephen May. It's landed at 3 weeks. You are asking for 6. How do you feel?
Well, can I just touch on that for a sec? If he is guilty of what they're saying, right, and he's been found guilty in the initial phase anyway, going to appeal, is three enough?
Well,
If you're found guilty of what we're saying,
probably not.
well, that's where I start.
Probably
right?
not.
So that's why I'm overs on this, and I will always be overs. I'm happy to be the outlier on this sort of instance. And you know what? I'm happy to say hit is hit. And I do think when you are built like Stephen is, there's not many players that you can hit that can really do him any damage. So he's comfortable entering in any collision. And I always say it's amazing how often we discuss these things, and the guy that's getting reported always seems to absolutely flush the other combatant coming the other way.
I clearly see it differently.
I know, I get it. I understand. And I don't disrespect that. I understand that.
And I don't disrespect your point of view either, but I think this one was a genuine accident. And anyway, we did this on Monday.
Do you think you'll get off?
Yes, I do. I think there's enough grey area in the findings, as briefly as I read it and as much as I've listened to it since, that they will be good enough and smart enough to get him off.
Where will that leave us if he gets off?
Confused.
Yeah.
But we're confused anyway because they didn't grade it as a bump.
So is Swanee's first job to come out and just assure us?
Well, where is a representative from the tribunal now, this morning?
100%.
Like, we've got the biggest show in the country. Why isn't someone on our program explaining that decision right now?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, we've got to wait till the appeal's done.
Well, yeah. Well,
you got to let it run its course.
So if they hadn't chosen to appeal, they should put someone up straight away, like he said they would. Michael Christian's probably not the right guy because he sent it to the tribunal, but someone has to explain to us how they landed at that.
So perfect world. Chriso explains why he didn't grade it.
Yep.
And then talk to us about that. And then next port of call. This is why we've given him 3 weeks. This is exactly what we think. And you can read that in the findings from the tribunal. It's lengthy, but you can read that. At the end of the appeal, I think we need someone to come out and say this is or this isn't the way the game's going.